She wanted respect. She got a reality check instead. People love to say you should respect your elders. It sounds simple. It sounds right. But no one talks about the other side of that idea. This happened when I was a teenager, old enough to ride the bus alone, but still young enough to be treated like I didn't know how the world worked. It was the middle of summer, hot, sticky, and full of pollen. The air felt heavy, and my allergies were out of control. My sinuses were a complete mess. I was on a bus heading across town. I didn't have tissues, no napkins, nothing useful. So I kept sniffing, trying to manage the situation without making it worse. It wasn't dramatic, just the quiet, repetitive sniffing of someone trying not to have their nose run in public. If you've ever had bad seasonal allergies, you know it's not something you choose. Your body just does what it wants. Apparently that wasn't acceptable to everyone. A woman sitting a few seats ahead of me suddenly turned around. She looked to be in her 50s, maybe older. Neat hair, upright posture, the kind of expression that suggested she believed manners were her personal responsibility. She stared at me for a moment, clearly annoyed. Then, loud enough for several people nearby to hear, she said, "That's disgusting. Don't you have a handkerchief?" It wasn't a kind suggestion. It wasn't quiet. It was sharp and public, meant to embarrass. The bus shifted into that subtle silence that happens when something awkward unfolds. No one openly stared, but you could feel people listening. Usually when someone older scolds you, especially in public, you shrink a little. I was used to that dynamic at home. Family members correcting me, telling me what I should be doing differently. Most of the time you swallow it because you have to live with them. But this wasn't family. This was a stranger who had decided my clogged nose was a personal offense. And suddenly I realized something freeing. I didn't owe her quiet obedience. If she felt comfortable calling me out loudly, then she was inviting a response at the same volume. So I turned toward her, calm, clear, just as loud. "Ew, gross," I said. "Carry a snot-soaked, germ-filled rag around in my pocket? That's unhygienic." There was a brief pause, the kind where everything feels suspended for a second. Her expression changed immediately. The confidence disappeared. She turned back around so quickly it was almost impressive. And that was it. No argument. No lecture. No second comment. Just silence. I didn't look around to see how the other passengers reacted. Maybe someone thought I was rude. Maybe someone thought she deserved it. Maybe no one cared at all. On public transportation, people witness small conflicts every day and pretend not to. But what stayed with me wasn't anyone else's reaction. It was the feeling in my chest afterward. For years, I had heard that older people automatically deserved respect. That talking back was wrong. That keeping quiet was the mature choice. But that moment showed me something different. Respect isn't automatic just because someone is older. Courtesy works both ways. If she had leaned over and quietly asked, "Do you need a tissue?" this would have been a completely different story. I might have felt embarrassed, but I would have appreciated the help. That's how you handle something like that. Instead, she chose public humiliation. And public humiliation is risky. Sometimes the person on the receiving end absorbs it. Sometimes they don't. That day I didn't. It wasn't about winning. It wasn't about humiliating her back. It was about balance. If she was going to speak to me like I was disgusting, I wasn't going to pretend she was being polite. After that, the bus ride continued as if nothing had happened. The engine hummed. The city passed by the windows. My allergies didn't magically improve, but something inside me had shifted. I realized that being young didn't mean being powerless. It didn't mean accepting disrespect just to seem polite. And it definitely didn't mean carrying around a damp handkerchief to satisfy someone else's standards. There's a difference between respecting experience and tolerating arrogance. One is earned. The other is assumed. That afternoon, on a hot, crowded bus, I learned something small but important. If someone demands respect while offering none, sometimes the simplest response is to match their energy and go back to minding your own business.